Claudia here from the Bookkeeping Experts. I've been an accountant for a long time, as a matter of fact, over 20 years. And we're here to help you understand QuickBooks Online. Today, we're going to talk about a common issue that you may see it over and over again, and this is unapplied cash payment. It happened with a client this week, and I wanted to share with you how to locate that issue and how to fix it. The possible issues of not fixing it is that if you're on accrual basis, you never see that income. So you're going to be understating your income. If you know the difference between accrual or cash basis, accrual is when the income is counted when you actually provide the services or the product, but not necessarily receive the money. You invoice your client, and at that point, you already count as income. And as far as expense goes, is when you actually accrue the expense, not necessarily when you're paying. And cash basis, as the name says, you only count the income or the expense when you're dealing with cash. Now, if you're on an accrual basis and you have a payment on an invoice that is for more than what the invoice is worth, and you don't correct the invoice. Let's suppose that the customer added a few more products, and now instead of $5,000, that invoice is supposed to be $12,000. However, you don't fix the invoice, you don't adjust it, you're just going to receive that payment towards that invoice for more than what is worth. If you're on the cash basis, you're going to see that as unapplied cash payment. But if you're in accrual basis, you are actually going to see that only on the balance sheet. You're not going to see on the profit and loss. So you're understating your income. Why on the balance sheet? Because on accrual basis is based on the invoice being issued, not the money being received. So how to fix that is what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so here we go. Without much further ado, here is a profit and loss report and how to get there, Claudia. On the left-hand side, report, standard report, and then just choose your standard profit and loss. Okay, so if you are on accrual basis, my income is $128,724.13. If I change that to cash basis, it's going to increase my income because now it's going to count that 7,000 extra dollars here. So it's going to go up to $139,74.13. The difference is right here is because of the unapplied cash payment. But we're also going to be able to locate that unapplied cash payment and fix it. So if I click on it, it's going to open up. And we have more than one transaction, right? So we have first, we have this transaction here. You see a negative and a positive means the negative amount is the invoice, the positive the payment. And the reason why it's unapplied is because the invoice was created for a date after the payment was received. For this one, if this was a credit from prior, it's fine. Now, if you just created the invoice after the payment was received, then you can easily fix it. You can just click on the date over here. It's going to open up the invoice. You can change that to the date of the payment if this is supposed to be the date of the invoice. But sometimes people just create an invoice without adjusting the date, and that's when you have that issue. Okay, so we fixed this one. If we go back, you'll see that it's going to be fixed, but it's not showing here because it's not refreshing. So we are going to the $7,000 and find out what's going on. And as you can see, the invoice is for $5,000. The payment is for $12,000. So $7,000 of unapplied cash payment. And if this is not correct, next time you create an invoice for this client, and if you have your payment set up for apply the credit automatically, it's going to apply to the next invoice incorrectly, and you're never going to know, and everything is going to be a big mess. So first thing that I would advise for you is to go to settings, click on the top right hand side gear menu, account settings, if you don't want any credit to be automatically applied to a new invoice, so you're going to click on settings. Okay, so you're going to go to advanced, and when you see automation, you want to make sure that you turn off where it says automatically apply credits. Okay, you don't want that to happen at all, so you want to make sure that this is off. Okay, done. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to show you. Okay, the next thing here that we want to do is to fix that payment. So we're going to go back to an applied cash payment. Change it to cash. And you're not going to see that other transaction for $15,000 anymore because we fixed that. And here we're going to click on this transaction. And I'm going to go into the invoice. If you have a deposit, you may have to undo that deposit to be able to fix it here. Okay. And then let's suppose that there were other services provided for $7,000. So I'm going to adjust this invoice first. Okay. All right. So now we have a payment that was for $5,000, but we're going to adjust that payment. The payment was for $12,000, but only $5,000 applied to this invoice. So we're going to go there and we're going to fix the amount that is right next to the $5,000 here. It's supposed to be $12,000. Okay, just to match the payment here on the top. So we're going to apply the entire amount to the invoice. There is zero amount credit. That's what I want to see. And of course, the date of the invoice has to be for the date of the payment or before. Okay, I always send it to payments to deposit, remember? And then we match it. We create a deposit and we match it. So save and close. But at this point, it's already being matched. So if it allows you to make that change, you can make that change without having to undo your reconciliation, and that makes it a lot easier. So now we're going to go back to my reports, and we're going to go to your profit and loss. And we're going to change it to cash just to make sure that we don't have any unapplied cash payment, and voila! Guys, we fixed everything right from the profit and loss, okay? So that is unapplied cash payment. And like I said, if you see that's something that is very common. It happens to a lot of my clients. I'm going to go back here. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay. All right. So that has happened to many of my clients over and over again. And it's easy to fix for most part. Sometimes this is kind of like one thing leads to another. So you may find an applied payment for an invoice that was not meant to be applied to that invoice because you had auto set up to apply credits automatically when you create an invoice. So, and it's not meant to be going into that invoice because that credit was an error in the first place. Sometimes I can tell you there's like a rabbit hole. You keep going over and over again. So it could be really complex, right? But for most part, what is an applied cash payment? Either a payment, first of all, it's only going to show if you're on a cash basis. Very important to understand that, at least on the profit and loss, because it is going to show, but it will show you on the balance sheet instead. Second, it's going to show up when the payment is for more than what is in the invoice, and that creates an automatic credit to that client. If you have the automation of apply credit automatically when you create an invoice, if there is a credit, it can create a whole mess. So you want to turn that off if you don't want that mess, unless you know exactly that those are real credits and not errors. Okay. All right. Now, I wanted to let you know that if you need additional help, we're here to help you. You can hire us for a one-on-one tutorial, or you can hire us to do your cleanup or ongoing bookkeeping so you can focus your attention on what matters most. You do what you do best, and we're going to do what we do best to help you get the right information, to help you get the right point of reference so you can grow your business. How important is that? It is crucial. Now, with the economy the way it is, you want to make sure you stay on top. You stay on top of your financials. See what's going on with your company so you can maximize those revenue and make sure that you take the necessary action to reach your goals, to grow your business. No matter how hard the economy is, if you understand where you are, it's a lot easier to continue growing regardless of the economy. Thank you so much for watching this content. If you like this content and you haven't subscribed yet, I'm gonna ask you to push the button below and subscribe. If you have any questions, hey, write down below. We're gonna get back to you on that as soon as we can. We would love to help you. We would love to help as many people as possible. So please share this content with all your friends, with all your colleagues and family, whoever needs help with QuickBooks Online. And we want to help as many people as possible. We're going to be back next week. And until next time, keep on smiling.